I used to live across the river for almost 40 years. I just moved into this place. And during this 40 years, it only happened once that the ferry couldn't cross.
Because it was frozen.
It was not really frozen, but there was a lot of ice coming, and it was dangerous for the ferry itself that it got damaged. But I've been told that before you could cross by the river by foot, or even by car. But the climate is changing. Probably this will never happen again. I used to be professor, assistant professor, and I'm a lecturer now. And I'm working at the university, Wageningen University. I'm into rural sociology, and I'm also educational coordinator for a master program called International Development Studies. I had a master myself in land water management, so I don't have a background in sociology. When I graduated in Wageningen in land water management, I continued to study in philosophy and later in sociology as well. But let's say in my backbones, landscapes is always there. It's not only part of my work; it's part of my constitution, my existence. I often give classes to students from abroad, and one of my presentation is called the Horizon of Relevance. And I always start this presentation with a lot of pictures from our landscape, symbolized in paintings or in poems, because in my idea our culture is very much related to our landscape and to our history. We have this low horizon, this wide view that we have. To me, a river is a gateway to the world, and the Netherlands has always been a trading country with open borders. Zie ik brede rivieren traag door oneindig laagland gaan, rijen ondenkbaar, ijle populieren als hoge pluimen aan de einder staan. This is, to me, the poem symbolized in this orange painting made by a colleague and old friend of mine, Jan Schakel. The river has so many faces. I mean, you were talking about the stories, and if you go to the brick factory, that you have a canoeing club, a kayak club. You have the Sea Scouts. There is a special parking place for the people who go for fishing. People who go for. There even are services from the church in Sunday morning in the river on Sunday morning.
Oh, really?
And so there's so many activities that are provided by the river. It's like a Euro Disney without any facilities, because you can do it the way you want it yourself. It's there. And to me, the river was. I like fishing very much. When I was a student, I always went. I was the only student that went fishing. No, fishing was not done in those. You were a rebel and you were political active, and but I was also fishing. So I know the river very, very well. I think an open sky gives you an open mind, and an open mind gives you the idea of freedom, and freedom gives you the idea of. Well, not endless, but a lot of possibilities. It is stimulating. It gives you opportunities. It doesn't frame you. It's like I've been giving courses and classes for years and years, and it's not always easy. Although you do it every day, you have to do it. And I was living in the Betuwe, and it took me an hour by bike, including the ferry, to get at my office and to get into the classroom.
And on my bike, I was always preparing my lectures. And the best lectures I always had on my bike. When I was not in that classroom where everything is covered and isolated, but where you have a free spirit and a free and open mind. I often do not realize that this landscape is not very common. I mean,
no.
It's very special.
Yeah.
It's we live below sea level. I mean, well, you've seen this. We are 7 meters above sea level, but as soon as you get a little bit more to the west, you're on sea level, and if you are close to The Hague or Rotterdam, you're below sea level.
Yeah.
And we really have a flat country. If the dike breaks through, this all will be flooded.
Yeah.
So it's also it gives opportunities, but it gives also threats. I mean, the poem ends up, the last 2 or 3 sentences is that water and rivers are creating fear or solidarity, because you cannot fight water all by yourself. You need your neighbors. If your land is flooding and you want to get rid of your water, you have to get it out, but then your neighbor gets flooded. So at least you have to do something together. You cannot build a dike around every parcel or every plot, because then you cannot get rid of the water. So there are political analysis made of Dutch culture and Dutch political system that shows that our struggle against water deeply roots our democratic system, and the idea of solidarity is also rooted in the collective fight against the threat of water. I never saw a boat passing by.
Mm-mm.
Since I'm living here, I see boats all day. I don't know how come. It's because you're more aware of it, and I'm looking out of the window for always. It's a good place to. Well, one of the things I never did was go by boat and then go out. I've been on the sea, but never from the Rhine. That's one of the things I would like to do someday.